What's going on YouTube? My name is FG3000. I'm back in the place to be and welcome to 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, a brand new hero collector brought to you by Netmarble and just came out today. So if you do want to download the title, I will have the links in the description below. So let's go ahead and get started. Now this game has an absolute mountain of hype behind it, over 2 million pre-registrations. Some might say that this is the very first S-tier title of 2020. What would you say, FG? You gotta wait for my tier list. But I will say, quick spoiler, I feel that this is the most complete hero collector that I have ever played, ladies and gentlemen. So let's start this off as we always do, starting off with the heroes that you can collect. Now, when it comes to anime-based hero collectors, I always say if you're a fan of the franchise, this is an easy recommendation. But for everyone else that has not even seen a single episode of 7 Deadly Sins, what about them? Well, two things. I do feel that the characters of 7 Deadly Sins have a universal appeal that even if you don't know anything about the characters, you will find a character that you can relate with and some characters that you can probably really get attached to. And number two, this game actually goes through the entire anime in cinematic form, ladies and gentlemen. Not like all the other hero collectors where there's just two PNGs monologuing back and forth to each other. No, I am talking about full animated cinematic cutscenes that cover not just the major battles and plot points, even some of like the goofy side activities. You can literally just play this game, go through the story, and get everything that you would have gotten out of the anime close, like very, very close. All right, maybe not everything, but extremely close of what you would get out of the anime.
気絶してるだけ。ボン。
あ、団長。
再開早々何この雰囲気。正解。
Not to mention the game does have the ability to skip through it if you don't want to see it, or you can just skip through the next major milestone in the dialogue. So if you're like a speed reader and you don't really want to wait for all of the scenes to play out, you can just skip to the next piece of dialogue just like that. It's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. So let me just say, when it comes to stamps of approval, I don't really have like a ranking system on my stamp of approvals, but I will say this is the highest, most glorious stamp of approval that I have ever given a hero collector. The heroes are amazing, the combat animations, the screen filling ultimates, being able to go through the story the first time or get a refresher for everyone else that hasn't seen the anime in a while, not to mention the cosmetics as well. So for a lot of these hero collectors, once you have a hero and I have a hero, both of our heroes look exactly the same. Here in 7 Deadly Sins, you can actually customize the characters from their hair, their weapon, their costumes, and all of these can be purchased using in-game diamonds, and there is no difference between in-game diamonds and paid diamonds. Shout out to Netmarble on that one, ladies and gentlemen. But what is all that worth if the combat isn't any good? Well, that's a good question. So let's go ahead and jump into combat. Now, 7 Deadly Sins does follow a traditional elemental weakness system where green beats blue, blue beats red. You've seen that before in other hero collectors. And at its very core, this is a traditional turn-based RPG with a card mechanic. So you're going to expect attacks, debuffs, heals, things of that nature. This game also has stances, which I think is very cool. So for example, Meliodas can go into a full counter stance so that for every hit that he receives within a turn, he's going to do full counter. Bond has a stance as well where he can heal himself, and lots of other characters do as well, which I find extremely interesting and very intense when it comes to like the retaliation attacks. I find like my most favorite part about this game. But let's talk about the actual card mechanics. So in this game, you have cards which represent attacks. So like I said before, attacks, debuffs, heals, things of that nature. But something special happens when two of the same cards are right next to each other in your hand. So if you have two 1-star cards of the same type next to each other, they combine to make a 2-star card. And 2-star cards do more damage, and sometimes they also have additional effects as well. The same exact thing applies when it comes to two 2-star cards that are right next to each other as well. Those combine to make a 3-star card, which, as you might imagine, does even more damage and can also have additional effects as well. So while you're going through combat, it's going to be kind of like a dance between you and your enemy, where you're trying to kind of survey what's going on in the battlefield while min-maxing what's going on in your hand and trying to make sure that the right cards are combining with each other. Because once again, for example, you are following an elemental weakness system. So if you have a character in your party that is not very advantageous for this fight, you're going to be trying to match the cards of the character that does have the elemental advantage in that fight. That way you're doing the most amount of damage. And there's even more flexibility in the system as well, which heightens the skill ceiling. So for example, if you have one card that's too far away from the card that you want to combine with, you can actually just pull pull that card, slide it right next to the card, and combine them that way, but then you sacrifice a turn. So I feel like the skill ceiling in live PvP is actually going to be extremely interesting. I cannot wait to do live PvP on this channel like we did back in the day. So definitely stay tuned for that one. So when it comes to combat, I am very impressed. It's one of those things where it's very easy to learn, but I feel like the skill ceiling is very high, and there's going to be quite a big gap between people that are just running on autoplay versus people that are actually trying to min-max every single turn that they have at hand. So A+ for me when it comes to the combat system. You're doing pretty good, Grand Cross. So outside of combat, as you guys just saw, you can bring 3 active members to combat with 1 sub-unit, which basically tags in if someone dies. In addition to that, each character is basically connected to another character on your roster. They don't take part in combat, but they do provide passive bonuses. So the stronger your sub-unit, the stronger your sub-bonuses, which of course makes your main characters even stronger and more powerful as well. So there is going to be a lot of use for characters that are not just your main party members, as you guys might expect. So when it comes to combat quality of life, the game does have an instantly available autoplay as well as ×2 speed, and it does have an auto repeat which automatically uses your stamina potions, which does come very much in handy when you are doing your daily resource grinds, which is a perfect segue, FG. Thank you, FG. So here are your daily resource grinds. It could not be the most complete hero collector without a few daily resource grinds, as you guys know. So of course there are events which allow you to build up materials to power up your characters. There are special dungeons which of course allow you to farm EXP juice, gold, as well as evolution books to evolve your characters, and they are represented in all of the elemental types, as you guys might expect. In addition to that, you also have equipment dungeons as well, which allow you to pinpoint the exact gear set that you're looking for, which I definitely appreciate that. Live PvP that we just talked about, a training dungeon that I was not able to unlock, and of course boss modes if you're looking for an additional challenge. So I do feel like everything that you're looking for in a hero collector is represented well here, and if it's not here yet, it's probably on the horizon, or I just don't have it unlocked yet, which includes co-op as well as guilds, and like I said, live PvP, more to come on that one. So far so good here in the world of 7 Deadly Sins. Now with all those daily resource grinds, what are you going to be doing with it? Well, of course, you're going to be upgrading your characters. Let's take a look at that right now. So when it comes to upgrading your characters, I do find this game very straightforward. You don't have to worry about like an annoying fodder system or anything like that. All you need is EXP juice to raise your levels. All you need is evolution books to evolve your character, awakening materials to awaken them, and then of course if you want to increase the power of your ultimate moves, you can pull duplicates. Equipping gear is very, very easy. Once again, there are no costs to unequipping gear, so if you equip the wrong set, or if you change your mind, if you get an upgrade, you don't got to pay this arbitrary amount of gold to take gear off. None of those things are present here in the world of 7 Deadly Sins, and I gotta say, I definitely appreciate that. So when it comes to the combat, the characters, the presentation, the quality of life, the streamlining. Now, usually when I say this, I say it with a negative connotation, but this time I'm using it as a positive. You guys know what I always say. I'm like, these developers are not playing their own game. But in this case, I feel like the developers are actually playing their own game, because there are certain things here and certain tweaks that you're gonna find as you're playing the game that it just flows. It just works. Shout out to my boy Todd on that one. So that is the core of the foundation of 7 Deadly Sins, but there's even more that I'm not gonna be able to cover in a single video. The campaign screen is fantastic. FG, did you just say the campaign screen is fantastic? I did. At a glance, it lets you know all of the treasure that you have not unlocked yet. There is tons of content in this game, from main stories to daily quests to repeatable quests to friendship quests, and all of them are very easy to find, all represented by your quest log in the upper right hand corner. And that's not even going over the things that you can do inside the boar's hat. Yes, you can manage your own tavern in the game as well. When it comes to feeding your customers, making money, decorating, cooking food, cleaning the tables, breaking barrels, there is just so much to this game. That sounds like most of it. It kind of is most of it. But like I said, this is the most complete hero collector that I've ever had the pleasure of playing. This is my main game. When it comes, and I always kind of bring this up, is this going to be a side game or a main game for the average player? This is a main game. There is a ton of content here. Stamina is so plentiful. This is going to be one of those games where as you pull duplicate characters, the game gives you coins that you can use to buy stamina pots. So in theory, you can literally play this game all day. what a smart solution to the duplication problem. This is not gonna be a game where you just kind of blow through your stamina within an hour and you're done for the day. No, you can literally play this game all day. So absolutely, this is a main game, and I cannot wait to continue showing you more of this game throughout the year, whether it's new characters, gacha pulls, guides. Yeah, FG said guides. FG said it. I said it. So that will do it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what are you waiting for? Download 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. Like I said, this is the most complete hero collector that I have ever played. Where's it gonna rank on the tier list? I guess you gotta tune in later. My name is FG3000. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later.